Coming to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulation.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Detroit Cast, powered by DealsInTheD.com with Mike and the greatest dad who ever lived. Shalom, Biggie. Hello, Jay. How are you, my friend?
I'm well to quite well. How are you doing?
I'm well to quite well as well.
Good.
Yeah. Those days, slick. I can't walk outside without, like, almost falling on my ass. It's like we've got that. Why is some ice really, really slippery and some of it's not?
Yeah, you're going to herniate yourself, right?
Yeah.
Where you just do that quick little slip, the quick catch slip.
Oh.
You'd almost rather just fall.
Where your whole gut, like, falls out of you. You're like, huh.
Yeah.
Have you ever had one of those, like, absolute ass over apple cart wipeouts on that stuff?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, that's embarrassing as shit, isn't
Yeah.
it? I told you that time when I did that at Kelly's house, right?
I don't remember.
Remember her house in Farmington Hills? You probably won't remember. She had a pretty steep driveway, and I was over there, and it was one of those. It was
We're talking about Kel Baba?
Kel Baba?
Kel Baba.
Yeah, Baba. But I was over there, and her, like, mom...
Shit, dude, you've been baby talking since high school.
Oh, dude,
come to think of
are
it.
you kidding me?
Kel Baba.
I don't remember Kel Baba. Margaret Beach, Obama, the dog, Maggie. But like her and her mom were on the porch, like, okay, bye. We'd like gone out to dinner and I had leftovers. I'm like, well, see you later. I was going out to my car.
Got all
high
your
school.
styrofoam?
Got my styrofoam, and it's a steep driveway and it's iced over, and I'm walking down it, and dude,
Yeah.
like Biggie, I hit something, and I mean, it was like boxes flown up in the air, whoop, whoop, right on my back. Food hits the cement and just flies everywhere, and I can't hear myself moaning over the hysterical laughter that is busting on the porch.
I'm with them. I love to see people fall,
I know.
as you know.
I would think there'd be a
If they would have heard
first.
the crushing blow of your skull hitting the pavement,
Yeah.
maybe. But if not, man, it's on.
I don't think I acknowledged their reaction. I think I just collected myself, walked to my car, opened the door, and left.
No, the move right there is to break dance. You got to quick do a helicopter.
Dude, I just had the most vicious wipeout on ice. There was no break dancing
Well, you
in
just
that moment.
you act like there was just like an intro to your break dance move.
Are you suggesting I should have popped up and said, ta-da? Really?
Sorta.
Oh,
Jesus.
yeah, working on my pratfalls. You guys bought that, didn't you? I think I left styrofoam and food everywhere,
Yeah.
and then just like got in the car and drove away.
Probably more styrofoam than food. That's kind of everything gets packed into these enormous styrofoam things.
Yeah.
They're always too big for what you're taking home.
And back then, it would have been cheese sticks in one box and chicken fingers in the other, so it would have been like ranch,
Delicious.
marinara displayed everywhere.
Jesus is not feeling well. Look at him. He's got his hood on.
I know.
We have reports that he went home last night, didn't feel well. Were you pooping bad or something? What was going on?
No, I don't know. Just
What were the symptoms?
flu, I guess. I don't know. Just,
so yeah, we didn't hear that until he's here.
I let him know that. I let him know.
This is the first time I've heard flu. You know, a 21-year-old workout monster died from the flu yesterday.
You're kidding.
No.
I don't know if
he
it's
went home and he was
flu-like.
like, I don't feel good. And like 2 days later, he was airlifted somewhere.
Dead.
And
It
died.
does happen. You're right.
Organ failure, from the FLU.
Influenza, sir.
Yes, it kills people all the time, usually old and weak, but sometimes even bodybuilders.
Okay. You've had the flu several times since I've known you, and you've survived, so.
Well, doesn't mean you're going to survive.
Gonna be all right.
you're right.
Anyway, it
You're
canceled
fine.
his day in history today.
I think that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
He
No,
didn't,
it's
he didn't want to do
definitely not.
homework last night. And
It's
so,
definitely
dude,
not.
Yeah.
Dude.
Because he's been doing on Thursday typically,
Yeah.
best day in history, or he's day in history. But this week he was gonna I'm gonna do it Wednesday, and then all
Because
of
I
a
didn't
sudden he
like
comes
what
down
was
with the
on
quote
Thursday.
flu.
Yeah, well, what were
Well,
you
you're gonna
going
have to deal with it.
Yeah, what were you going to do today that was more exciting?
I was considering doing two parts, actually. One was the first ever underground tunnel in London.
Hold on.
And
Okay.
no, like, not just in London, but I mean, it was the first underground tunnel, or not tunnel, train.
So people
Sorry,
didn't
train.
dig holes before? Oh, it's underground train.
I'm
Thank
sorry,
you
train.
for being specific.
Yeah.
I was about to suggest that even prehistoric man,
Okay,
I don't know,
no,
dug a
train.
hole.
Sorry,
Yeah.
it's like a subway. First underground subway
Okay.
in London, and then actually, the other thing I was considering
Opposed to
doing
above ground subways, but whatever.
I was considering doing two of those things because I didn't really think that there was that much on that, even though I found it interesting. But also, Channel 50 first went on the air. I don't remember what year, but in here locally in Detroit, Channel 50.
Was that KBD?
Yeah,
WKBD.
WKBD.
but it was
Harold
interesting
Hairston?
when I looked.
Oh,
I don't
dude,
remember.
He came way late.
Oh,
in the
I know,
game.
I know, I know.
I don't
I
remember.
think Bill
oh,
Kennedy. When I
Who
think
was the chick?
early. Sure, Amir Makeupson.
Amir Makeupson. Remember Troy had a story with her where she like pulled out in front of him. He was like, you know, between your house and my house, you just come up Middle Belt and then turn onto 11 Mile or Inkster. She was at like that Kroger or whatever it was back then.
Great Scott Square or something.
Yeah.
Chatham
And
Square.
And he says, dude, I'm just cooking down Middle Belt. And all of a sudden,
Out comes Makeupson.
Makeupson out of nowhere, doesn't look, and pulls right out. And she realizes, like, oh, there's oncoming traffic. And he's like, dude, her head turns, and she gives me this deer in headlights. So I can't look.
Makeupson in the headlights look.
Yeah, with that curly whatever hair she had.
Unmistakable.
And
Unmistakable.
he's like, she just. And I'm like locking my escort up.
Yeah.
That piece of shit escort he had.
That's when you just T-bone Makeupson.
I know, right? It's like, Makeupson, what are you doing? The fuck?
They're real people.
Amir Makeupson. Whatever happened to her?
Hey, does your money work as hard as you do? You'll spend upwards of 45 years working to support your lifestyle, provide for your family, and set aside money for retirement. Do you know if you'll even be able to retire on your terms? How could you know? If you don't have a plan, let Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial help to make sure your money is working as hard as you are. Call Mark today. Our buddy Mark, 248-626-2000. Ask for Mark.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
I don't suppose E spent that time Bing searching Amir Makeupson so that the
No, I was actually
I'll
looking up.
enjoy a picture.
I was looking up something else, but
the first tunnel ever dug.
no, I was looking up.
Who dug the first hole?
Some guy dug a hole.
That's
back
not
in
what
the
happened.
Caveman days.
That's not what happened. But I was looking. I was
No,
looking.
what
up
were
the
you
history
looking
of
up?
Channel 50, just because I remember thinking it was interesting. But the problem was I didn't think there was enough. Wasn't that much to talk. I thought this part was interesting, like when someone was going to buy the station at first, and then that fell through, or this or that, and
Dude, there's 50 years of local TV broadcasting history. You don't think you could fill 5 minutes? God damn you
no,
to hell.
that's not true because how you guys treat
My
this thing,
bones are hurting.
You guys,
They're
you guys
aching.
watch,
Too.
as usual. What another fake news by you guys? Because what would
It's
have
not
happened?
new. This isn't news. Stop declaring fake news.
No, because you
You can call us
so-
liars, but we're not breaking news here.
You're okay. Well, you're double talk out of both sides of your mouth. Then for
Double
sure.
talk and jive. Keep the
Love
money,
that song.
motherfucker.
Because what would happen
Because I got no more patience.
is if I would have done that and then gone into just like people down the line or Channel 50 had been like, that has nothing to do with that day, technically. It's the only relevant thing is today is when it happened. And that's what I believe that you would say if I did what you just described.
Oh, well, he's anticipating. I like that. That's good character there.
KBD first signed on the air January 10th, 1965, under the ownership of Kaiser Soze Broadcasting. Let's see. You can't find Amir Makeupson. Can we just
yeah.
get one picture of
Fine.
maybe Hairston and Makeupson?
Nah, I don't know that Hairston and Makeupson match up, honestly. Hairston
What?
came
Weren't they
in-
on the set at 10 o'clock?
Maybe,
I thought,
maybe they were, but I feel like Makeupson was way earlier.
really?
Yeah,
I-
Makeupson was like Bill Bond's days, you know?
yeah, but I think Makeupson just refused to leave.
That could be
Yeah,
a
and
Harlan
so-
situation, a Carmen Harlan
Yeah.
type situation.
Yeah. And so Makeupson just
Makeupson was a
hung on
stalwart.
And hung on and
Yeah.
hung on and hung on. And it was like, all right, the new team's here. Hairston's here. You know, Harold's in the house.
I have no idea how to spell Amir. And usually,
Why don't you start with Makeupson? Try that one.
I don't.
Dude, he can't spell Amir. How's he going to spell Makeupson?
Yeah, I think Makeupson would be easier than.
Yeah, but that doesn't, dude. There.
Can't you do Channel 50, Makeupson, news?
Yeah.
Like start binging that. WKBD,
Fuck.
Channel 50, Detroit, Makeupson. You even get close. You could
I don't believe that that's true.
make Sun and probably get Amir Makeupson to pop up.
I don't like him, his giant head, or his beady little eyes.
Oh, wait.
There's not much on her
Bland,
Wikipedia.
pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes.
She started
The
some
devil's
play in
eyes.
2003.
I don't. Yeah.
She was nominated.
Do we
Okay.
have a picture? Just an image.
You were asking what she was up to, is what you first said, actually.
I was saying that to stall.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
Oh,
There
that is
she
so
is.
not.
There
what was
she
happening.
is.
Yeah, look at
Yeah,
Amir.
you see her staring at you, pulling out in
Oh,
front of you.
yeah.
You know that's Amir Makeupson.
Imagine her with just deer in headlights. And I think Troy reacted fast enough to not T-bone her. Anyways, I don't know how we got there, but oh, David Scott, yeah. Fuck, people won't even like who watched the Channel 50 10 o'clock news. Most newses were at
Well, that was the thing.
That was
Five,
their
6,
point,
and
wasn't
11.
it? That
No,
was
I
their
Yeah, they
hope.
made it relevant at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, but did they?
And now there is 10 o'clock news, right?
Huh?
On Channel 2.
Yeah.
Forebearers of great news.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I mean, if you're a new station, what are you going to do? Are you going to just do the same time, or are you going to try to do earlier than
I
those?
know, but I mean, there was so much news at the
You
time.
can go head to head
Yeah.
against, against Krim.
You can't compete with Krim. Come on. Think about it. E, you'll be proud of me. You've been telling me to watch that Gilbert Gottfried documentary movie
Yeah.
the last few days. You know Gilbert Gottfried, right, Jay?
Sure.
Who doesn't?
Affleck.
The Affleck Duck. I mean, he's played like bit parts in movies, stand-up comic. He's gotten in trouble over the years for.
Yeah.
Fascinating look at him, though. Interesting documentary. It's called Gilbert, a Gilbert Gottfried story. On
I would
Hulu.
never be interested in that guy. You're telling me
wouldn't-
it's a fascinating story?
Yeah, because Gilbert's just one of those weird, like, asexual dudes. Like you see, like he's never in the news. He's
You've met
never,
him, right?
Yeah, I
Is
have.
he that weird in person? Or
You know, he's one of those. Like he stands
is he
out
like
to
Bobcat, where you
Yes.
see him later and he's just like a normal dude?
me. Him, Stanhope, Gilbert Gottfried, Stanhope, and Bobcat are the three that really come to mind when I think of guys that came in studio and were just like these. All of them are like really wee. First off,
Just wisps of men.
yeah, just wisps of men with really outrageous personalities, and it's like, oh my God, so and so's Gilbert Gottfried's coming in, and it's like this meek of a man sits down. It's just like you're like, yeah, can I get you something to drink? And he's like, you got like a hot tea or something? You're like, all right, yeah, we'll get you that. And it's like they don't really want
course.
to talk to you, and they're just really and Bobcat was the same exact way. Oh,
And then the mic goes on.
what?
and-
And it, rah, rah, they just like explode. Like most times guys would come and they'd sit down, they'd put headphones on, you'd fix the volume level so you don't blow their ears out. But these guys like kick the door in and are screaming before they get to a seat. It's just such a weird thing. Like Stanhope too. Stanhope is like the nicest, like off the air. Just like, oh man, just a water would be great walking around. Oh, you think people will care? I don't know, man. Just like the confidence almost is like I'm probably overdoing it. But then,
But a humble dude,
yeah,
regular guy.
But then we'll take the stage and be like, for fuck's sakes, man, I get here and people won't leave me the fuck. You want a water? Yeah, faggot. Some faggots asking me if I want water. And you're like,
Yeah.
holy shit, he's talking about me. God damn. And it's just such a weird thing. And so Gilbert, that character, you know, his Affleck, you know, has always been like that's that, and then he's shut off from the world. And it's funny seeing a guy like open up. He's got 2 kids. He's married, and nobody knew that really. Nobody really knew that. And so they've got film of that, and they're showing him. He's like, he lives in this $3 million apartment in New York, which is basically a shithole, just because in New York everything's so expensive. But he's got money, but he's cheap as shit. He like takes the bus everywhere, and so people are like, is Gilbert Gottfried
Like the
riding my
mega bus, Jay. I'm talking like the, where
Like
it says like
50 cents to
dollar
ride?
on the side of it. It will say like, you get to Ann Arbor for $10 or something.
Oh, sweet.
It's like,
And he's just sitting on there riding it. People are like, is Gilbert Gottfried on my bus? What the fuck?
Is he currently doing stand-up and stuff? What does he
Yeah,
do?
yeah.
Really?
Well, he's got a podcast now.
Oh, okay.
That does well, and he goes to like, you know, it's like, well, he's going to be in Denver this weekend, and so they put him up in a hotel, and he's so fucking cheap. He steals the soaps, the slippers, the toothpaste, and his wife is like, you look at this. She's like pulling from under the bed. She's boxed.
All the stuff he's kept from
And
hotels.
it's like 10,000 bars of mini soap and mini shampoos, and she's like, you couldn't possibly use all this shit. I've got crates of this stuff, T-shirts that he's gotten at promotions. He's kept everything, like hoarded all this stuff, and she boxes it up. But yeah, seeing this guy, and it's like you forget how vicious he could be. Just like, and there's something about that, like. I know you have a respect for that art just because of, you know, it's like, holy shit, you're getting up on stage in front of literal strangers.
Right.
And trying to make them laugh. But I was thinking back to when he lost that Affleck gig. Do you remember that when he got fired from Affleck?
Yeah, and they got an imposter to just mimic.
Yeah. And dude, that gig pays literally his Affleck millions of dollars. And he gets fired for that. Like he'd just recently gotten on Twitter, and the tsunami had just happened in Japan, and so he's like, I guess I'll try this new Twitter thing. And so he sends these tweets out the day of the tsunami. I just split up with my girlfriend, but like the Japanese say, there'll be another one floating by any minute now.
That's creative.
My Japanese doctor advised me to stay healthy. I need 50 million gallons of water a day.
That's really astounding.
I was talking to my Japanese real estate agent. I said, is there a school in this area? She said, not now, but just wait. The day of that, dude, that tsunami was
That's too soon.
Mm-hmm. I asked a girl in Japan to have sex with me. She said, okay, but you'll have to sleep in the wet spot.
See, I wonder if it's just that that I'm not thinking of it at that day. But when they read some of these off in the movie, I remember thinking, like, yeah, these are funny. Like, I don't know. Like, I just didn't think about it. Again, I don't think about it in the context of that day. But, like, when I hear it, what was it, 5 years later?
But it's kind of only funny in that day. They're not funny if you take them a year
that's
later.
The funny thing.
It's funny that he had the balls to do that.
So, see, I think they're still funny is my point.
See, I don't.
I guess I thought they were.
Yeah.
They're not. They're cheesy, dumb things, but it's like it was unknown at the time that like this field or this medium, social media could reach other people. Like he's used to being in a comedy club and telling a joke, and then you leave and whatever, it dies there. But not realize, and then it's like all of a sudden the CEO hears it and and people are complaining.
So
to
that's
Affleck.
why he got nixed from Affleck.
That was it.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
And then showing him like these comics are talking about, yeah, we had this big, fundraiser thing right after 9/11. He's like, yeah, it was probably too soon. Here we are, like literally a week out of 9/11, and we've got all these comics. We're doing this thing, and he's like, it was not the place. And Gilbert gets up there and he's like, yeah, I was booking a flight from New York to L.A. and I couldn't get it nonstop. We had to make a stop at the Empire State Building, and the whole room was just like, fuck, in New York, in New York, and so. The comics are like, it was brutal, and everybody felt it.
Probably though.
It's brutal. Everyone in the room groaned. Nobody laughed. It wasn't funny. And goddamn, if that son of a bitch didn't double down and go twice as hard and went into and immediately goes into like, family goes into the psychiatrist's office, and he starts doing the aristocrat stuff where, the dad starts fucking his daughter in the ass. While the son's getting blown by his mom, while he's fingering his own sister. And the people are just like, and the comics are like, he literally averted trouble from the New York joke because he went so fucking far over the line with the aristocrats one.
Boy.
It's like, holy shit, man. Dude, did you catch the Mackenzie Phillips line joke in there, E?
He probably doesn't know who Mackenzie Phillips is.
You remember Mackenzie Phillips from the 70s? What show was she on?
One Day at a Time.
Yeah. Not a good-looking girl.
Daughter of John Phillips, famously banged John Phillips for decades, right?
Right,
Her father.
Exactly. Gilbert's on stage, and he's just like, so I was reading Mackenzie Phillips' new book. In it, she says her dad would come into her room every night and have sex with her. And here I can't get my daughter to hold my hand walking across the street. And he's fucking his.
I actually did like that. I didn't even know what it was about, and I still liked it.
Holy shit, man! I was laughing. Anyway, it's a cool look at someone you really don't know much about.
Yeah.
So if you're into those kind of documentary things, I saw it on Hulu. It's probably on Amazon and iTunes, all that stuff. But
well, speaking of old ass comedians, Gallagher. You mentioned to me you wanted me to remind you of Gallagher and the fact that your grandpa had some story about getting in an argument with Gallagher, the Gallagher, the sledge-o-matic Gallagher.
The watermelon smasher.
The one and only.
Yeah. Did you ever like Gallagher? We've had this conversation before. Here's the thing. Gallagher is underrated.
Okay.
You think of sledge-o-matic, watermelon.
That's all I've seen. Him standing there just...
People holding the fucking tarp up in the front. Cheesy as shit. There was some good political and... of the times George Carlin-esque light.
I'll take your word for it.
Comedy in there, if I remember correctly. He wasn't that bad. But anyway, this started when we were talking about Pearl Harbor. My grandpa being at Pearl Harbor, and how proud he was of the country, and would never want to do anything to disparage the military. Blah blah blah. And so my mom remembered another story, and she just called me and told me about it. It was like, yeah, did you know your grandpa got into a fight with Gallagher? I'm like,
did she do it in that hot, sultry voice of hers?
I was like,
hey, Mike,
no.
Mike.
So apparently, my grandfather took my grandmother to Vegas, and they went to a Gallagher show.
Like when? In the 70s?
Probably.
Yeah.
And I guess Gallagher came out wearing like an American flag as like a cape and was walking around, and it's like dragging, the ends of it are dragging on the ground. And my grandfather's just fucking fuming.
Yeah.
He's, you think it was like, have a seat. I'll tell you when your tea time's up. To the Japs
Right.
that wanted to golf.
Right.
Seeing Gallagher walk around and have the tips of the flag dragging on the stage did not sit well with him. And so I guess he did something like...
Started heckling hard?
No, at the intermission, he said he wanted to talk to Gallagher. And somehow he got backstage.
Your grandpa a large man?
No, he's a wisp of a man, really. He's not... I mean, he's shrunk over the years. His ears got bigger, but you know how that
They all
goes.
do.
Yeah, he shrunk a good
Sort of
few
chimp-like
inches.
in the end.
Yeah. But apparently he got backstage and gave Gallagher the what for.
Is that right?
Yeah. And Gallagher apologized to him, and then for the second part, he didn't do anything with the flag in. Like, well, I didn't see him dragging that flag around after that. It's like, who
Way to go, Pops.
demands to go backstage and fucking tell Gallagher what's up with the flag? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, he probably did it in a genuine enough way. Like, look, I'm a Pearl Harbor guy. I
Yeah.
survived Pearl Harbor. You gotta have some sense here, man.
Yeah. And back then, if this is in the 70s or something, and I don't know when it was. It could have
Yeah,
been the
probably
80s.
anti-Vietnam shit going on, and Gallagher's wanting to make that statement.
Yeah, but those are also the days where people would listen to someone if they went, I have a real problem with this. People would be respectful. Oh, man, I didn't mean to offend. You could see someone, instead of like, fuck you, and then jumping on Twitter, man, some old man,
Or
But yeah.
fuck you and wiping his ass with it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Papa.
Yeah. Do you have any interest in that I, Tonya movie?
I, Tonya. This is, of course, the Tonya Harding
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
I guess a little bit, although I read that it's sort of funny. It's a funny take on it, and I don't really want to see that story turned into like a comedy.
Yeah.
I know aspects of it are ridiculous, such that they
Yeah.
could be viewed as funny, but
Galooly, like all the cast of characters
Yeah.
were such
Sean
dopes.
Eckert.
Yeah, exactly.
big dopey guy in his dumb trench coat.
Huge,
Let's just whack her in the knee, take her out.
just dopes, such dopes. And but yeah, when I saw it, like Tonya Harding, not a looker.
No.
Margot
Margot?
Robbie,
Yeah.
dude. Margot Robbie's like the hottest chick in Hollywood right now. One
yeah,
of
but
them.
didn't they really
Frump
screw her up?
Yeah, I guess
And they
that's
put some
true.
crazy makeup on her and just made her look like trash and all that.
I think the story is more about privilege versus non-privilege. Like, there's more to this story. Like, Tonya Harding comes from privilege, and where
No, non-privilege.
Nancy Kerrigan comes from privilege, and blah blah blah. Where Tonya Harding, parents were shit. She's white trash, and so I think it kind of tells that sort of story. I don't know if that justifies it, but it was kind of gross watching. Go figure, the Golden Globes the other day, and Tonya was in there, in the room, and like people are evading for her. It was an honor to work with Tonya Harding. I'm like, this bitch is famous for having someone club the knee of a rival. Like, what are we talking about?
I mean, I guess to this day, she has denied knowing what was going to happen. I mean, I think at most she said she had heard some chatter between Galooly and Eckert that they should do something about,
Yes, exactly.
helping her, get by her rivals. But she claims that there was nothing specific and she didn't know an attack was going to happen. So she's
just
stuck to
don't
the
buy
story.
that.
Of course you don't.
I mean, seriously.
But she's stuck to it.
yeah. Think about that.
She actually
for a
looks
second.
better there than I anticipated, to be
Yeah.
honest, and she looks not good. But
Yeah. I agree with you. She looked really, really weathered for a long time.
yeah.
No, that the
Appropriately wearing black, though.
Of course, yes. Hashtag me too.
Whoa,
the
time's
reason.
up, Mike. This isn't me too.
Oh yeah, time's up. That's right.
God.
The reason
You were in
I
the
know-
wrong hashtag, dude.
I know.
You were
I'm
like,
sorry.
wow.
I'm getting the pins mixed up with the hashtags. It's crazy. But she did wear black, which obviously is going to stop this. So thank God
Good
she's
for
doing
her.
her part. No more rapes in Hollywood, thanks to the women wearing black. But yeah, I don't buy that story because I just think of like that level of athletics. When you're talking about the national championships and the Olympics, like all of a sudden your dirtbag piece of shit Galooly husband and your bodyguard are going to on their own come up with some
Yeah.
crazy fucking idea. That happened at Joe Louis Arena, by
I
the
know.
way.
I thought it was Kobo, actually.
Oh, yeah. They were skating at Joe Louis, but it happened in Kobo.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
They may have been skating at Kobo for some... I don't know.
Feet
Look,
with- their
look
feet
that
from
up.
each other. I mean,
I'm
I know
sure
they are, I know.
I'm sure they were skating at Joe, but I also thought that it happened at Kobo.
Yeah,
so
maybe
I'm not-
like they were walking through there or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But yeah, it's like I just find it hard to believe that these guys, without her knowledge, would or her input would come up with this grand scheme.
It's crazy.
It just, you know, I could see going, guys, I can't know anything about this. You know, I need plausible deniability.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, totally, I see that. But yeah, I don't buy that. But I guess, I guess you watched this. I hadn't seen this yet, but I hear it's pretty good. She was on with a British, Piers Morgan does that Good Morning Britain talk show, kind of like GMA here.
Yeah.
And they had her on as a guest. And I guess Piers was kind of calling her out, like, dude, are you the victim here, or is it?
Yeah.
You know, is it?
That's the
Nancy?
ultimate question at this point.
You got it there, E. Go ahead.
Compete. Well,
I respect you for trying to ask these questions. However, I am really here just to talk about the future and what it means. My movie now, to me, is going to help so many people to realize that it is okay to ask for help.
God, she looks so much better than I thought she would.
I know.
So long to be able to ask for somebody to help me.
Tonya, let me just interrupt a moment. Do you think
that's why I'm here speaking to you today?
Well, I know that maybe it suits you to play the victim, but I think the victim in all this wasn't you. It was Nancy Kerrigan, who had her Olympic dream shattered quite literally in her legs.
I believe that we all... Thank you so much. I appreciate being on your show, but I think I'm going to have to say have a good night.
Oh, that's not a relevant or
interview because
appropriate question.
Nancy Kerrigan was the victim here, not you.
You weren't letting me finish. I think that many people are the victims of abuse every single day.
Great. So we continue to look like ugly Americans over across the pond.
Is that really an inappropriate question? I mean,
no!
If you're going to do interviews, you have to know, like, the first thing people are going to ask you before they get to your dumb movie and where it's premiering is going to be like, hey, that Nancy Kerrigan thing, that was kind of crazy, huh?
Of course Nancy was a victim, but this is a story that tells from my point of view and this and that, you know. It's an easy answer. God, how bad would that hurt to get fucking wailed in the knee?
Wasn't it one of those, like, extendable, like, metal or
blackjack or whatever you call them?
Whack in the knee.
Woo!
Ugh. She
told
it
Shane? What was his name? The actual assailant.
Shane Stant.
Yes.
Dude, I did not remember Stant for some reason.
I totally remember it.
Yeah.
It's from Arizona or something.
I'm surprised you got Eckert, actually.
Yeah, Sean Eckert.
Sean Eckert.
I just picture that son of a
fat,
bitch.
Dopey idiot.
Fancied himself like some real, tough bodyguard and into covert operations.
Big, giant, fat guy. Isn't that funny when you see just, dude, you're not like a fighter or you're just a big, giant, fat guy.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, if you sit on me, it's over, but you ain't chasing anybody down, pal.
And then what did Galooly change his name to? Stone?
Yes, Jeff Stone. Yeah. I am no longer going to be Jeff Galooly. I will now be Jeff Stone. I'm tired of being bothered.
It'll solve everything.
Yeah, we never understood that. But she also told she did Good Morning America too, and Tonya did, and said that they were like asking her about apologizing, this and that. She's like, enough apologizing. Kerrigan's got her life. I've got my life.
When did you apologize?
Got wonderful lives, and that should be all that matters. It seems like a weird stance to take. You know what I mean? Like, I would just think,
why is she the sympathetic figure now? That's crazy.
I don't know. And I haven't seen the movie. Maybe the movie will be like, oh, my God, wow, she really did have it right.
All right, well, let's assume she had a hard upbringing and wool was pulled, and at best she knew that there was some chatter about something, but she didn't know specifics.
Then Kerrigan deserved to get that knee busted to shit. I mean, if that's true, that she had a hard upbringing, Kerrigan deserves to have her knee crushed and miss the Olympics.
No, I mean, in all honesty, let's assume she had a hard upbringing, and that's the case. She didn't know. I mean, at the very least, she should, as I mentioned before, recognize that Kerrigan was truly a victim, but also say, look, this was hard for me as well in these ways, and that's what the movie portrays. Blah blah blah.
So you're saying less advantaged people should not be allowed to go around town clubbing our knees?
Exactly.
Fuck. Okay. I don't know if that's going to stick, but we can try. I don't know. I would just think that she would be surrounded, because of the movie, she would be surrounded by PR people and team of people that would be going, look, you have to expect these are coming. Here's just your stamp answer. I feel bad for her. I've had a lot of years to reflect. It was awful what happened to her. I honestly mean it, even though you don't believe me, that I didn't really know about it, and I didn't handle it properly at the time. I wish her nothing but great things in the future. There's a way to handle those questions. Enough apologizing already.
She has zero sophistication. That was the same. That was her reaction back then, and it's her reaction now.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, there's a political way to handle this.
Yeah.
Get through it easily. But.
Yeah.
I still wonder what the big machine said about Kobo and Joe Louis, but I don't know.
It's there. You guys were talking. I was gonna. It happened at Kobo in the corridors of Kobo Arena.
The auto show is here, and that can mean only one thing: insane deals from your friends at Zotford and Holly. Speaking of Kobo Arena. SUVs are the flavor of the month. Lease a new 18 Ford Escape as low as $144 a month, or release a new 18 Ford Edge as low as $188 a month. We'd say it again, but Jay gets pissed. So hit rewind or go to dealsinthed.com to see these deals, plus many more.
Hey, James Damore. Damore. Is that how you say it? Damore? Is it Damore?
I say Richard. I say Richard Hendrick.
Yeah, Richard Hendrick's not a bad.
Of course, he's the main character of Silicon Valley, and we're about to talk about James Damore, who's this Google employee who was nixed for the memo in August. But the guy, I swear to God, he looks just like Richard Hendrick.
There's something about that God makes you look a certain way if you're just going to be a nerd. If you're going to be one of those guys that went to Harvard for, science, engineering, coding type stuff,
I guess.
You just have to have that look, that. Ugh. And he does have that Richard Hendrick.
I guess it shows how spot on the casting of Silicon Valley is and their representation of what Silicon Valley employment really is.
Yeah.
Silicon, sorry.
Silicon. Come on, get it right.
Silicone.
It's not silicon. I'm going to Bobo Fat you.
Mike always pulls out this snobby bullshit about being Californian.
It's not silicone. You're a stickler for details. You want to be right.
Silicone Valley.
It's silicon. It's not silicone. Silicone is for titties.
Valley.
Silicon is in the.
How do you spell Silicon Valley?
SILICONE. Silicon.
Right, same as silicone.
There might not be an E. Fuck, I don't remember. Anyway, he's the guy. He's filed a lawsuit now against Google, and if you remember, I guess what was that? A few months ago, he put a memo, like August. One of those like manifestos, almost.
Sort of as an internal, if you were Jerry Maguire, you'd say it's a mission statement.
There you go.
But James Damore, it was a memo, I think, an internal memo that criticized Google's hiring practices and just their view on diversity. He was kind of calling them out, like, this is bullshit,
Yeah. He was basically saying, there's an underlying, if you've got conservative viewpoints, fuck off here. So you keep those hidden. It's kind of like we're an underground crew here at Google that has conservative values, God forbid. And the other thing was they were trying to push women in the diversity thing. And his point in the thing, and if you read it, and I did, I haven't read it in a while, but I remember when I read it, it was like, okay, this is just a different viewpoint. He's not being an asshole.
Well,
it's
the biological tie.
Right.
It hit a chord because progressives don't want to believe that there's any sort of biological ties. It harkens back to homosexuality, right?
Sure.
And the born with versus, choice and so forth. So Damore, at one point in this 3,000-word memo, included the sentence, I'm simply stating that the distribution of preferences and abilities of men and women differ in part due to biological causes, and that these differences may explain why we don't see equal representation of men in tech and leadership.
Right.
And that fucking blew up the world.
Right. Yeah, he was basically saying, men gravitate towards this kind of thing, and women
have these talents, and therefore, that's why you see the disparity. You don't see a lot of female coders.
It was like, how dare you? Women are just as capable. He's like, I didn't say women were less than.
Yeah, I didn't say capable.
Say that.
I just said there's a natural reason that perhaps we see women in different.
Anyway, he was fired almost immediately, and the CEO of Google at the time, Bosher or something, came out and said. Something like this gender stereotyping is reckless and irresponsible.
I intend to silence these views.
Right. And it really kind of had that cultish. It's just a weird. Silicon Valley is such a weird.
Silicon.
It's such a weird environment. That one where it's like, oh, bring your kids in and bicycle to work, and
sure.
we'll serve you breakfast and lunch.
Let's play ping pong.
Play volleyball. Oh my God, take a nap if you want. It's like. Okay, how about we just go to work and then go home and be with our family? Like, why do I need to play volleyball here with you and have lunch and dinner and breakfast that you're buying? And it's just this weird, like, echo environment that they've created. And
that's tech, though, dude. That's where the whole tech industry is, not just Silicon Valley.
Well, they started getting blown in the media at the time when it was like, oh, you won't believe what so and so is.
You can ride a skateboard down the hallway.
What? They've set up pods where we can take naps to relax for a while. What? And so they've all gone through this like crazy outdo each other thing. Like, well, we serve filet every morning. Mm-hmm. Look what we do for our people. They don't even have to show up for work this year.
Yeah.
That's how much we care about our employees. Men get paternity leave.
And it's portrayed well with Hooli in Silicon Valley, the show.
Right, exactly.
Just the absurdity of their cafeteria and so forth.
You don't work here anymore. Just go up to the roof and sunbathe and collect your paycheck. So anyways, he's filed this lawsuit, and this is kind of in your wheelhouse, Jay, this kind of employment law type stuff. And I know you're not a California attorney, but
well, that's what's most interesting to me about this case is this California law that makes political activity protected. And so it's like so we've talked about many times on this show, you can fire an at-will employee for any reason as long as it's not a discriminatory one that's barred by law, like race, national origin, gender. Obviously, you can't go, I want to get rid of all men and fire all men. You can't do that.
Right. You could fire E not because he's retarded, but because you
not
don't
an
like
employee.
him. Well,
He's an independent contractor.
Okay, let's say he was.
Wow, that's a huge assumption.
Right.
I can't even hardly imagine that.
He's back at TGI Fridays or wherever, and you're the manager, you want to fire him, and you're like, fuck, he's so retarded. And they're like, you'd go, whoa, 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 you can't fire him because he's retarded.
You probably shouldn't make it an employment decision based on disability.
Okay, but you could fire him because I hate that bright yellow sweatshirt he wears.
You could. As dumb as that sounds, you're an at-will employee, and a lot of people don't realize that. They think they have some ownership in their job. Unless you have a contract, you really don't.
Yeah.
You know, but Americans
even with a contract.
Yeah, right. And you know, after decades of employment, people even in at-will positions start to think like, "Oh, this is my job," until your employer says it's not.
Yeah.
But
that's a hard one to wrap your head around.
Yeah,
most
it is.
People really don't understand that.
Blood, sweat, and tears a lot of times your employer, and it's just harsh to learn that. Oh yeah, they could let you go tomorrow. But on the flip side of that, you could leave tomorrow, and you don't have any obligation to them. So it is kind of a give and take.
It's kind of warped, you know, like me leaving is no big deal to them, but them firing
depends
me
on how you look at
shirt's
yourself.
yellow
Depends on how you look at yourself.
Stinks. Anyway, so the California law is a little different in that you can't fire someone because of their political views.
Yeah,
is that what you're saying?
It bans private employers from discriminating against workers due to their political views, affiliations, or activities, which isn't the norm around the country. But so it gives us extra protection for people. Ironically,
California of all places.
You'd think in California they'd want to, as this lawsuit asserts, squash one side.
Yeah. How do you feel about this lawsuit, knowing what they're claiming? I know it's 180 pages. I read a few of them, and I was intrigued. I guess it depends who you believe, but some of the things I was reading in the claims are disturbing on a whole other level, I thought. You know, when you look at this kid, here's a kid who was like at Harvard, got an internship at Google, was so good they made him a junior coder engineer, and then they made him a senior engineer. He's young. His record is flawless. He's got no one working under him. He doesn't have a team. He's not responsible for anybody else. His reviews are stellar. His raises are every year. His last raise was in January. Got like a 20% raise.
Yeah.
And then this memo comes out. They don't agree with it, and he's fired. And
I mean, it would seem to be potentially, on its face, a violation of the law we just described. I mean, it'll be up to his lawyers to convince the court or jury, ultimately, wherever it ends up going, that this was political in nature.
Yeah.
And if so, Google has a problem. But they'll try their best to argue, based on precedent of prior cases, that no, politics is really going out and campaigning for a certain judge or campaigning for a certain Senate candidate or something like that. That doesn't involve what this memo involved.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of disturbed, too, reading some of the things about, he said something like, you know, they'd have these, like, rally meetings and things, or the group meetings that you'd go to, and, you know, white men...
Oh, it's diversity gone nuts.
Yeah. White men would routinely be booed.
Yeah.
By the other people in the meeting.
You know, and you follow that sort of, that's fine, I guess, if you're not breaking the law, which will ultimately be decided in this lawsuit. And that's fine if you want to do that as a company, but follow that to its logical conclusion. You know, pissed off, a huge nation of pissed off middle-aged white guys.
Yeah.
Where does that end?
Yeah. That's not going to be good.
The Trump presidency?
Yeah. One of the other things, I don't know if you read this, but they had these TGIF, thank God it's whatever, meetings. And so this goes back to March of last year. They had one, it was entitled Women's History Month. And so they bring out the fucking woman leader of the HR crew, and who was it, Porat? Oh, God. Ruth Porat, the chief financial officer of Google, and Eileen Naughton, the human individual departments at Google, human resources director at Google. And so they pointed out and shamed individual departments at Google in which women comprise less than 50% of the workforce.
Yeah, I mean, the allegations in this complaint are that they have quotas there, and quotas are illegal. You know, you can have affirmative action programs, and a lot of companies do. Anybody with a federal contract has to. But
my question for you is, how would these people in these positions not know? Like, I joke a lot. Like, Jay, we can't. I'm not hiring a woman at the and you go, oh, fuck. But you know I'm joking. I'm kidding about that. It's so outrageous. But these people saying they discuss when looking at groups of people for promotions or for leadership opportunities or new projects, Google will be taking into account gender and ethnic demographics. They then mentioned that Google's racial and gender preferences in hiring were not up for debate because this was morally and economically the best thing to do.
Because you can take that into consideration. You can. You just cannot have quotas.
Well,
so
these
when
guys
when you're talking in emails about 50%, that looks like a hard quota.
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
Yeah.
So it probably passes muster through these high-level HR people by saying, well, you know, we're looking for diversity, which is to an extent legal.
And there's two guys. That's why I keep saying these guys in their complaint. The one we obviously know from the memo who got fired was more public. But there's two engineers that are suing. And
they're looking for class action. They're trying to.
Yeah, but they were saying that, you know, that to meet these quotas, what you have to do then is take really underqualified people. And so you're basically going, if you're white and single or white man, you're not welcome here, even though you're superior talent-wise to someone that they're bringing in because they're brown or a woman or whatever. And these guys are going, it's not legal to do that.
It's the age-old affirmative action complaint, quota complaint.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where this goes because Silicon Valley has gotten so massive and just doesn't answer to anyone. I mean, they're more powerful than the American government. They have more money than the government, and they've got no oversight.
If you recall, that exact point caused us to go Bing.
Of course. I don't even like saying Google.
We said, look, usually you can hit these companies in the pocketbook if you're dismayed by some action by them. Well, you know what? We can't do that with Google, so we're going Bing. We're Binging things now.
We do. And it's funny. I saw a tweet last night, and I don't know if this is true or not, but someone was saying, yeah, go Google X and then Bing it. And you'll get different image results. Like you'll get, like this one makes people look a little worse if Google doesn't like what you just searched.
It's scary.
I don't know if that's true, but it wouldn't shock me at this point. It really wouldn't.
Google rules the world as we sit here on YouTube.
We do a quick morning announcement, Jay. Do you mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, welcome to school, everybody.
Oh, no, this isn't this type of announcement.
Stan Lee, please report the principal's office. Marvel creator Stan Lee
Spidey creator?
to the principal's office.
Ooh! Stan,
he wouldn't.
Stan Lee.
Would he?
Gave us Spider-Man, the Hulk.
The Hulk. David Banner. Peter Parker.
He's been hit with several allegations of sexual assault and harassment. He's 95.
That's what I was going to say. I think of that dude as asexual. You know what I mean? You just picture Stan Lee, just this dorky guy with his hair combed back and the glasses, and I invented Spider-Man, you know?
Yeah.
Really? He's like banging chicks? That guy?
Well, I picture him as like the weird, like, oh, that seems oddly placed. The cameos he makes in all those movies.
Oh, I didn't know.
Dude, he makes a cameo in every Marvel movie.
Does he really?
Yeah, where it's just like he's there at the desk like, hi. You know, like,
some old man, ugly old man who definitely isn't Hollywood type.
Glasses, hair, the whole thing. Yeah, he makes an appearance in all his movies. So, but yeah, apparently he's got his Hollywood Hills home, $20 million crib, beautiful, and he's got round-the-clock nurses that take care of him at $1,000 a day.
Oh my God!
Think about that. $28,000 a month.
He's 95. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
Can't take it with you.
$336,000 a year, and you know what their jobs are?
Butt wiping.
They make sure he takes his pills on time. They bring him food.
Happy ending?
No. That's part of the problem. They check his blood pressure and they make sure he takes his meds. That's about it. $1,000 a day.
Incur a few slaps on the ass.
Yep.
Agnes, grab me my pills. Bam.
He's allegedly groped and harassed a string of young female nurses.
Yeah.
Said to ask for blowjobs in the shower.
God.
95, dude. When does it shut off? Can we shut it off?
I don't think we can.
You shouldn't be at least he's asking for blowjobs in the shower, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a step in the right direction, maybe. He's walked around nude. And, will someone please jack me off in my bed? Like,
please?
He's asking to be pleasured in his bedroom. They cater to celebrities, this nursing place, and now there's a little legal dispute going on. Lee categorically denies this through his lawyers. False, despicable allegations. Fully intends to clear his stellar good name. Could be part of a shakedown. Let's see. He doesn't seem to care what people think of him. This is a source close to this situation. It says that Stan's an old man who has seemingly lost his way. He doesn't care what people think of him. He's lost his filter. There's been a stream of young nurses coming to his house, and he's been sexually harassing them. He finds it funny. He walks around naked, is vulgar. He asks them for blowjobs in the shower and wants to be jacked off in his bedroom. He uses the word pussy and fuck in their presence. Come on, Stan. He's also very handsy and has groped some of the women. The owner at the nursing company has openly said to people that Stan has sexually harassed every single nurse that's been to his house. That got back to Lee.
Why does she keep sending them there, though? You would think
$1,000 a day.
I understand that, but
there's liability on that guy's behalf, though. Knowingly sending them into that.
Like, oh yeah, they're getting sexually busted. Oh well.
I think it's a chick owner too, and so she's finally decided enough is enough. Mr. Lee intends to fight this to the fullest.
Mr. Lee,
I know. Wants to protect his good name. We're not aware of anyone filing a civil action. Instead, Mr. Lee has received demands to pay money and threats that if he does not do so, the accuser will go to the media. Mr. Lee will not be extorted or blackmailed and will pay no money to anyone because he's done absolutely nothing wrong. A new nursing company is taking care of him, and of course they say he's been fine to us.
Yeah, he's 95. He can probably see this out, right? Even if they sue him.
Yeah, you take into account the guy was married for 70 years. His wife died last July. And, now he's, he wants to keep the thing going. He's not ready to shut it down. So, well, anyone mind blowing me in the shower really quick? Judy's not here no more. Faithfully with his wife for all those years. Joan, excuse me. And then he's got this.
I was going to say, who's Judy, Mike?
Yeah, Jeez. No, Joan. I guess he's got this, really big, buff bodyguard that's with him. He's been with him for a reminder, they call him. And you can see him in pictures whenever Stan is at Comic-Con and stuff. He's, always there with him, those kind of guys. And all the nurses are afraid
of
him.
Huh?
I know.
Latch onto a guy like that and just for 30 years, you're just his bodyguard.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And I guess he's intimidating, and the nurses are all frightened by him. Some of the...
so have any of the nurses engaged? Are there allegations that he,
none of them
stuck
have
his dick
said
somewhere?
whether they blew him or
he's just asking for it.
Yeah. I think. I don't have any accounts of anyone
Nothing like,
came in my face or nothing like that. No. Max Anderson is that guy's name. He's been there for years. Road manager at comic book conventions. He's got quite a criminal past, though, unfortunately. In 2002, felony conviction for beating the dog shit out of his wife. I don't know what she did. For which he was jailed for 365 days. I believe that's a year.
Roughly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there.
In 2010, he was found guilty of beating the dog shit out of his son with a belt. I don't know what his son did. And putting him in a chokehold and then slamming him on the floor. He did 36 months of probation and also anger management. And then I read this and I'm like, oh, man, Stan. It sounds like Stan keeps getting taken advantage of. And that's just sad. It's like all of a sudden it emerged last week that someone stole $300,000 from him. Just forged a check. Money managers discovered it's to some merch company, and they that's not Stan's autograph. And then on Thursday, it emerged that someone used his money to buy a condo.
Oh, Stan!
Someone dropped a check for $850,000 and wrote Stan Lee on the check and bought a condo.
Some angry nurse, going, I'll show you, grabbing a couple checks here.
Man, and then did you hear about that mega pastor?
No, mega church pastor?
Yeah, mega church pastor admitted to assaulting a teen 20 years ago.
Oh, no.
Got a standing ovation by the congregation, I'm so sorry.
Where's this? Did it Jimmy Swaggart?
It's in Texas. Andy Savage, have you heard of him? I guess
no.
he's part of this, one of those giant, mega churches where they got music and all that stuff. But
that's not the Bieber guy, is it? He had a name somewhat like that. The guy that Bieber's all in with now.
I don't know.
Bing that.
He's a younger guy. Andy Savage. He looks like he's not like an old creepy dude.
That sounds young and hip, man.
Yeah, hell
and
yeah.
Savage.
Rock and roll, man. It's all about the Lord. And yeah, his victim Jules Woodson wrote an account of what happened.
Dude.
Jules is a chick. She was getting a ride home from him. He was in college at the time. She's a 17-year-old in high school. And he took her to a wooded area and unzipped his pants. So anyway, he issues an apology. He did not discuss the details. He said he thought I've dealt with this in Texas years ago, but my repentance over this sin over 20 years ago and done believing God's forgiveness is bigger than any sin. And I still believe that, to which the audience cheered. But then when he said, for any painful memories or fresh wounds this has created, I am sorry. I humbly ask for your forgiveness. I love you all very much. Standing ovation. Going
Hold on.
nuts.
Bag up, bag up.
Did he rape her?
No. Okay.
I was had sex with her?
Well, he asked her to blow him.
Hold on, E. I'm getting there. Jesus
sorry.
fuck, dude. 17-year-old high school senior. She's a member of the youth ministry. And he's like, one of those, I'll give you a ride home. We've all been there, right? So he starts driving, and he misses the turnoff for her home.
Oh, oops.
Yeah. And so instead he drives down this dirt road with a promise of a surprise. And she's thinking, this is amazing. We're going for ice cream. I'm not kidding. She thinks they're going to get ice cream. He dead-end road, turns the vehicle's lights off, pulls his penis out of his pants, and then, would you mind blowing me? And she's like, oh, man, I thought we were getting ice cream. This stinks.
I'd be licking an ice cream cone right now.
I was scared and embarrassed, but I did it. She thinks, oh, this must mean Andy loves me. Oh, man, ice cream would have been so much better. And so then he's like, oh, while this is going on, do you mind unbuttoning your shirt? I'd like to fondle your titties, too. And so she does. And then, I thought he loved me. And I'm thinking, yeah, he did for like 5 minutes. I mean, yeah.
7 to 9?
It lasted 5 for Andy Savage. Not much of a savage, but Andy lasts 5 minutes and immediately gets out of his car and then comes over to the passenger side, kneels down. Oh, my God, what have I done? Oh, what have I done? Lord, forgive me.
The guilt set in immediately.
Why does he have to run to her side?
Oh, Andy.
Get on the knees. And she's just like, what is the problem?
Oh, gosh.
And then it's like, now we've got a secret. One of those things. Gets back in the car, drives her home, no problem. Didn't do anything else. He was done at that point.
So do you think this was an anticipation of a Me Too disclosure by her?
I think she was
I don't want to be cynical.
I don't know.
I can't judge Andy.
I'm not sure, but I kept reading this, and I'm like, I'm not surprised by the next sentence that comes up, because she did what you're supposed to do. She didn't wait 30 years. She went to the elder church pastor and said what happened to discuss it. And the first thing the associate pastor said, so she gets through all the details, and he says, so you're telling me you participated? Oh, man. She's like, yeah. He asked me to blow him, and I did.
Well, it's a relevant question. I mean, don't just dismiss that question. Like, he wants to be sure it was consensual, right?
So you're telling me you participated? It just seems like with a girl.
I know. Well, that would be one of the first thing you'd want to know. Like, you're not claiming he raped you, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's fair. I guess we see that so much from the church, like wanting to blame the victim.
Yeah, and maybe that's where this is going, where it just becomes shoved under the rug because she participated.
Not only did I feel immense guilt for doing what Andy had asked, but I also started to feel that this was my fault somehow because I didn't stop him. The church's leadership tried to treat the incident as water under the bridge until she worked up the courage to tell more people, which got him, like, hey, I'm leaving the church. It's crazy. I'm going to another one. And so no one could imagine Andy doing anything bad or immoral, much less illegal, so it somehow became my fault that Andy was leaving. I was and remain very remorseful for the incident, regret the pain I caused, blah, blah, blah. She was not thrilled with that apology and the standing ovation, and so that's why she's kind of coming out and giving more details. Like, fuck this guy. On his page for the High Point Church website indicates he's now married, father of 5, good. He serves as the church's teaching pastor. His bio reads in part, Andy enjoys time at home with his family, great espresso.
Ice cream.
And has a mild addiction to...
Ice cream?
No, heroin. Which I thought was really...
Wait, what?
No, actually, it's CrossFit, but wouldn't that have been awesome if it did? He's got a mild addiction to heroin.
Mildly addicted to heroin.
No, it's almost as bad. He's mildly addicted to CrossFit. Yeah. Ugh, get over yourself.
Sounds like a website bio disclosure. It's perfect. Mildly. He's mildly addicted.
James Franco denying his stuff.
Yeah, was he on Stephen Colbert?
Yeah, he was, and it's basically like, oh, if I did something wrong, I need to make it good, and I will. It's like... if you did something wrong. I love these people that are like...
Yeah, but the problem with his, it's like it's been these vague things about girls of age and, like we talked about yesterday, boorish, rude, perhaps, douchebaggery, for maybe, but, it didn't sound like a sexual assault.
Yeah.
So he's probably like, what do I need to say? Yeah, I was banging young chicks. I'm 30 and 17. I probably shouldn't have. I mean, that's douchey.
Yeah.
But I did. I'm James Franco.
It's legal, and I'm a star.
Yeah.
Pussy follows me everywhere I go, so there's that.
Fact is, I wouldn't want my daughter going out with some 30-year-old and that happening. But, under the law, I guess it's legal, right?
Yeah. And you could be even younger in some places. But he also addressed Ali Sheedy, and he's like, look, man, I have no idea what I did to her.
Sheedy's short-circuited.
Yeah.
Get it?
I do get it. I do. He doesn't, but I get it. Yeah, so he's like, dude, fuck if I know. She took those tweets down, so I can't speak for her. He's like, I have respect for her. So whatever happened there, I'd be shocked if he didn't know, but...
Or maybe she's just trying to be a champion for others. Like, she heard rumors and is just like, screw that guy.
Yeah, but she was, like, hardcore, like, James Franco. That seems a little odd that you'd single that guy out. There's a picture of him. She looks like an old bag, and he's... I don't know. Something happened there. And then, lastly, Michael Douglas has come forward.
Doug Michaelis?
Yeah. He's come forward to deny, absolutely, I did not jack off in front of a woman 32 years ago.
Categorically.
Yes. This is one of those, like...
He did probably eat her out, though, knowing
maybe.
Doug Michaelis.
Yeah. It's like, dude, you're 73 or something. It's like, 32 years ago, I was working on the set of the Pelican Brief or whatever, and he... said stuff around to his friends that was vulgar and disgusting. It's like, okay. Yeah, okay. He never touched me. But one time he jacked off and when I was in the room or something. I'm like, oh.
God, this must be a thing, right?
Yeah.
People jacking off in front of chicks.
She claims that, one, I used colorful language in front of her. Not at her, but I used colorful language. She claims that in conversations I had in front of her on the phone that I spoke raunchily or dirtily with my friends in private conversations. I fired her eventually for the work she was doing, but 3, she claims I blackballed her from the industry and stopped her from getting another job. Finally, I masturbated in front of her, and that is far from the truth. Complete lie, fabrication, blah, blah, blah. She's confirmed I never touched her or, in her words, harassed her.
Now I got you.
It's extremely painful. I don't have skeletons in my closet or anyone who's coming out saying this. The accuser might still be disgruntled over her career fallout. The part that hurts the worst, and this is why I mentioned this, because I was going to ask which would be worse. The part that hurts the worst is having to share something like this with your wife and children. My kids are very upset, have to go to school worrying about this in some article, me being a harasser. And I was like, that would suck. Like,
how old are his kids?
The day he got the news, which was like Christmas Eve, that kid was like enrolling in college, and then he's got some younger ones.
Yeah.
But what would be worse? Like, if you had to break the news, like, all right, there's some idiot that claims I beat off in front of her. You got to tell Sweet Pie and the kids this, right? Some idiot's coming out. You might hear about it in school.
The Yuletide.
Yeah, the Christmas Eve. Santa will be here. He's 12 hours out. Don't worry.
Gaiety abounds.
Yeah. Some idiot is claiming I jacked it in front of her. I didn't, but I hate even bringing this up, kids. Or, Dad's got mouth cancer. How'd you get mouth cancer, Dad?
I mean, that tickles a pussy.
Well, you could always just say you just got mouth cancer. I mean, the doctor was not going to say.
Yeah.
I mean, the doctor's not going to say like. Yeah, like.
But dude, we all know how he got mouth cancer.
Well, but he doesn't have to explain that.
It's for them to discover later. Like, I mean, I don't know.
I was going down on Gab, and her pussy was. It turns out it was poison. Who knew?
Either
the doctor's
of them
obviously
is
diagnosis from eating pussy. Like, and you're like, well, the doctor told me it was from eating your. I mean,
yeah, neither is ideal.
Yeah.
But I don't think either one is that awful.
Like, I'm trying to think.
Dude, he's a public figure. You can be like, look, this lady, yes, I know her. I don't know why she's accusing me of these things, but she is.
Yeah.
People do crazy stuff.
That's the other thing. If you know you didn't do it.
Okay, E, if you... I'll give you the choice. The story you have to hear from your dad is that some girl is accusing him of jacking off in front of her.
Hi, Mrs. Fady, by the way.
Hi, Mrs.
Just give a little wave.
Or your dad can sit you down and tell you he's got mouth cancer because he would not stop going down on Mrs. Fady, and her shit was poison.
The mouth cancer.
Hi, Mrs. Fady.
Hi, Mrs. Fady.
The mouth cancer to me. I don't even know why that's... I don't even think that's a...
Like, but then you got to picture your dad jacking off with his huge dong. And
no, that's right. That's what I just said. That's what I said. The mouth cancer is the one I would
Does
prefer.
your dad have a huge dong? Let's settle that first.
Yeah. I don't
You've
know.
never seen your dad's dong?
If I have, it was many years ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, and
well,
was it huge?
Probably didn't shrink or grow in the last few years.
I don't remember, dude.
Let's say he was full grown at the time. Was he huge?
I don't know.
I
don't know. I don't even think that I have, frankly. But
it wasn't a nub, though.
I don't.
Was it micro? Was it micro?
It hung.
I don't know.
You're not
Have
saying
you seen
your
your
dad
dad's
is a
dick? I
micro.
mean, this is
I've
literally
seen
the
my
same.
dad's
Yeah, it was
dick.
huge.
Yeah.
Okay,
Huge.
sure.
Absolutely huge.
Third leg.
It's incredible. It was like, what
Well,
happened to me?
You guys can lie and be
I
stupid.
concluded I lived with a 3-legged man. I couldn't believe it.
Right.
Do you really
Okay.
think that the king is lying about the size of his dad's dong? Have you seen him?
I think both of you are being assholes, as usual. But.
You asked the question. You said, well, have you ever seen your dad's? And we both went, yeah, it's huge.
Okay, well, I'm being honest, and I'm saying that I haven't. And I think you're just lying, is what I think is happening.
Why don't you level with me then?
Dude, I would much prefer hearing my dad tell me, dude, some girl came forward from 32 years ago saying I jacked in front of her. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Instead of the absolute true story that he said he would prefer, and picture my dad going down on. You know what I mean?
He's got his original point though is a good one, in that you don't have to say why you got mouth cancer.
But
if
though,
you,
because
okay,
the story's out
under
there.
your scenario, if we're assuming you have to,
You do.
that is uncomfortable.
Yeah, because if you just got, like, what's worse, telling your dad?
Because
telling
what's
him you
worse?
jacked off.
What's worse, though? Some
Well,
story about
telling
your
your
dad.
kids
Wait,
they
I'm
got
trying,
cancer,
let
you
me
got
say
cancer's
something.
not bad.
Let me say something. You're saying like what's worse is that your dad's saying he has some cancer, but it's involving your mother, and at least that's normal, and he's been having sex with his wife versus him jerking off in front of some stranger.
The
I
only
think
only reason I would pose the question is what would be worse if your family member has cancer. That's nothing to be ashamed of. You wouldn't be like,
However,
that sucks. But
in
it's
that
not.
instance,
Why would I be
it's
ashamed
a
of my dad being
it's
an
true.
unselfish lover?
The cancer is true, and if under your scenario you have to disclose why, that's truth, and you have to face that
You
truth.
have to face the
under
truth.
Under the other piece of your scenario, you don't. You deny it, dude. I never did
Yeah.
this. So you're going to hear this. It's absolutely false.
Yeah. It's
Okay, well,
false.
I'm assuming they're
categorically deny
both
it.
true.
And even if you didn't, it's like you tell Sweet Pie, I've got mouth cancer. She goes, but you didn't chew tobacco. That's right, Sweet Pie. It's crazy. You didn't smoke. I know. It's crazy. So how'd you get it? Well, your mom's vagine was poisonous. I don't know what to tell you.
I think
that's what the doctors told me, that your mom's vagine was poisonous, and I got this now.
You would never have to say that for one. That's
Well.
so absurd. People get lung cancer that have never smoked. I mean,
I understand that, E. In this case, that's how we got it.
well, like,
Let's take a quick break, and then I wanted to show you, Jay, some of these. Like we're hearing so many of these stories about how bad women have it and how unfair the world is, and hashtag Me Too, and hashtag this sentence today or whatever. And I don't want to say that that's not true, that that's not going on, but boy, it could be worse. And it wasn't that long ago when things were much worse for women. And I love these stories because every year after the holidays, when people are doing their new ad budgets and stuff for January to kick off in first quarter and stuff, they're like, oh, look at these retro ads from the 70s or from the 50s. And so we've got some of those. I love looking at those. And then we've got a good Housewife's Guide explains how women should treat their husbands, things like that. So
How a good housewife should act.
yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
And so we'll review some of that right after the break.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break. The Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
All right, welcome back to the Detroit Cast, powered by DealsInTheD.com with Mike and Jay.
Hey, got to tell you about the Hamlin Pub. They have 5 locations, Clarkston, Chesterfield, Rochester, and 2 in Shelby Township. Hamlin Pub offers a wide selection of craft beers. Most are brewed right here in Michigan. They have great happy hour specials Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m., and half-off appetizers on Monday. Check out all their specials at all 5 locations. Go to hamlinpubs.com for more info.
All right, I mentioned just before the break how I know it seems like it's not a fair world out there for women right now. Men and women. And I'm getting to the point where it's like, you know what? I think the best move might be to just separate the two. Like, equal, separate, though. Like, women work here, men work here, separate bathroom. We do the separate bathroom, separate drinking fountain, whatever. And just, like, try to put a time out on something.
I can't tell. Sometimes with you, I can't tell if you're half kidding, half serious. But
he's doing a Louis C.K. bit.
It's not a Louis C.K. bit. I searched last time you accused me of that. Searched high and low and found
separate
nothing.
but equal.
Yes, it's not.
I don't know about that. But what I will say,
you accused me. I was like, dude, I did not get that from Louis C.K.
Separate but equal. Really?
No, it's not.
Are you going to jack off in front of us too now? Oh my God, Mike.
I think what you're talking about, the closest I could find was, but maybe.
Oh, okay, that might be.
But maybe bit. And I was like, is that what Jay's thinking?
No, somebody's done separate but equal.
Me, yeah, right here on the show. It did it. You tried to steal that bit from me.
You're inspired by someone.
Louis C.K. apparently.
Well, my point was going to be, is I think that dude, I don't think that what you're saying to me is honestly that far off. I'm serious. Like,
no, when you just see over and over, it's like, we just can't get along. Whether it's this group or that group, or maybe we just need to
can't be trusted.
Equal. I don't want rusty water for the women. Good, clean water for them.
Some high quality H2O.
Bobby Boucher. No, but it's funny. Like I was saying before the break, every January, the adverts. Well, you think the ads were crazy? Are crazy now. Look at these old ads from the 50s. And he's got these pictures and these adverts up, and my wife Jean is happy, pretty and pregnant. Boy, am I glad I bought her a hot point washer and dryer.
Jean is happy.
You have to go to
I trapped my man.
This is how I trapped my man.
Look at that bra. Pushes up, pushes in.
Yeah, look at that padded ass.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Push-up bra and padded knickers. Successful marriages start in the kitchen.
Awesome.
What is that? Oh, that's Pyrex. Pyrex is still big today.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They should go retro. Happy marriages start in the kitchen. Yeah, there's my wife. Jean is happy.
Yeah, they could save some on their advertising budget and just go back to what they were doing. I mean, they had a good thing going.
God, look at that.
Jean is happy, pretty, and pregnant. Boy, am I glad I bought a new hot point washer and dryer.
Yeah.
Only $249.
Yeah, it's not bad. What else do they have to eat? Does your husband look younger than you do?
Dorothy Gray Salon.
Yeah, some of these are for like dish soaps and stuff. Like, wouldn't want your hands getting weathered and looking old and useless.
That right there looks like a very familiar ad, just from the 70s, early 80s. You know, just that style of the woman up front.
Yeah.
But this one reads, a good club soda is like a good woman. It won't quit on you.
Hell yeah. It's kind of that 70s.
Farrah Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett. That's what I'm trying to think of. I love my husband far too much to risk getting dry, lifeless, middle-aged skin.
I agree.
Awesome. Keep it up, ladies.
She was a perfect wife, except for one neglect.
Oh, no.
Her vagine reeked because she didn't use Lysol body spray. She was perfect, except her vagine stinked.
Lysol body spray?
Yes, dude.
Holy shit.
I didn't realize body spray had been around that
Lysol.
long.
I didn't realize Lysol was creating a body spray. I think of that as like something you put in the toilet or clean the floor with.
Toilet, vagine, whatever. 1950s advert, that is.
Wow.
And a broken marriage is the result of the wife failing to use Lysol feminine hygiene product.
Yeesh. That's right in your face, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I didn't know stinky vagines were even a topic of
they've
discussion.
been a thing forever, I guess.
Imagine how stinky vagines would have been freaking 200 years ago.
Think of like pirate times, man.
They must have just
you know,
been
the wenches.
awful.
Just these guys coming off the boats and at port, just hitting these whore houses.
The idea of a trim up is just like, what?
Well, thus the merkin, right? Back in the day where they just shave everything and throw the pubic wig on there.
Oh, those like knee knickers, just some ravaged, out of control bush.
The out west saloons and stuff, and the whore houses.
Yeah, I mean, you get the swamp balls just from walking around all day long. You know what I mean? Think of if you're on a ship or something.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah, stinks.
Pirate times, man.
I don't mean that gross vagines didn't exist. Of course they did. I would just think it would be like, that's something we talk about behind closed doors.
That's in your face. It's in a magazine ad.
We don't throw it in a magazine.
No.
There's another woman waiting for every man, and she's too smart to have morning breath. Yeah, get up before he does and make sure your breath is...
Dentine or something, or Chlorodent.
Chlorodent.
I agree with that as well.
Yeah. Anyway, that always leads to... any of those any good?
Let's see.
Another love match shipwrecked.
Another feminine hygiene one.
Wow.
Vagine reeks, and this guy's like, I've had enough with your stinky vagine.
He's got the bag. He's outdoors.
He's got the bag packed. She's got the child. Look at the child on her lap. She smells it. She smells it.
Oh, yes, she does.
The dad doesn't give a shit about his kid. He's
Listen
like,
here, Dolores. If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. Clean up that foul vagine. I've had it. I'm out. Boom, slams the door. Take this kid and go with your stinky vagine.
3-year-old on the lap is just going...
Another love match. Shipwrecked.
It's not just shipwrecked. It's on the dangerous reef of half-truths about feminine hygiene. It's for Lysol. Lysol is making a killing with gross
they
vagine.
came strong, didn't they?
Dude, I just picture that big aerosol bottle.
What is this for?
Wanted husbands for these girls.
I mean, is it a personals or
Lux for underthings?
Because that's what they want, of course. Husbands.
Yes. These secretaries need love too. Look at them. Married? No reason to neglect stockings.
Stockings. Oh my God.
Look at the husband's face.
Who keep their stockings perfect. Wouldn't want to run in them. God, he might just leave you.
The nylon industry took a hit, didn't it? Remember those damn little egg packages all over the place? They're in grocery stores. They're everywhere.
Those damn eggs.
Yeah. Look at his face, like looking down at the possibly not good stockings. I guess
he sees what he thinks is a run starting,
and he's like, he's getting ready to get that.
I will leave, Gertrude. Yes, I will. Just 1 minute, young lady. She's got a gun and poison in her hand and a noose around her neck because she's not shampooing enough, apparently.
These would not pass muster today.
Look at this. You could lose them in a minute, ladies. If your hands get weathered from Pall Mall dish soap. Fuck.
Yeah. The 50s ones are the funnier ones.
Yeah, they are. And so that leads, of course, to... Oh, no. Shh. Mom's on the warpath. Why ruin the evening, Mother? Housework on hot days is bound to leave you tired and cross. To make evenings with your family the best part of the day, try this pleasant treatment. God damn it, E.
Oh, sorry.
Treatment for nerves. Every afternoon, get into the tub with a cake of
whatever brand soap.
New Ivory soap. So get in the tub with Ivory soap. Otherwise...
You might be cross.
You might be cross. So that leads to these good housewives keeping magazines, Good Housewives and stuff like that. 1955.
Does Good Housewives exist today?
Probably not. And
if so, under a different name, I would imagine.
These stories go around. We've done them before, but they always crack me up. It's like, oh, you think you got it bad now, do you, Lois? Could have been worse. Women in the 50s were expected to do for their husbands. May 1955, Housekeeping Monthly published an article entitled The Good Wife's Guide, detailing all the ways that a wife should act and how best she can be a partner to her husband and a mother to her children. See if this stands up, because you're the only one that's married in the room with children, Jay.
Right.
Ladies, first thing you need to do, have dinner ready. Plan ahead, even the night before, to have a delicious meal ready on time for his return. This is a way of letting him know that you have been thinking about him and are concerned about his needs.
Let's take it out of the context of my generation. Did your mom even have dinner ready every day?
Yes, damn
Did
straight.
she?
You're goddamn right.
You
Mine
think
didn't.
Bob came home from GM or
Bob
Ford
was
or
not
whatever?
having that.
Bob was working transit all day.
A lot of times it was macaroni and cheese with hot dogs cut up in it.
Yeah,
But,
dude, I definitely didn't have dinner ready every day.
Well, most men are hungry when they come home, and the prospect of a good meal, especially his favorite dish, is part of the warm welcome needed.
That is something.
Wouldn't that be great, though, if you came in and every day there was your favorite meal warm, ready for you? Kids were waiting, and so was Gab. Prepare yourself, Gabriella. Take 15 minutes to rest so you'll be refreshed when he arrives.
You better make that meal, but also refresh.
God damn it, why couldn't I be born in the 40s?
I know.
So this is my life in the 50s.
Be the best.
Touch up your makeup. Put a ribbon in your hair and be fresh looking. He has just been with a lot of work-weary people.
In fact, he's been at a fucking liquid lunch and then just hanging out smoking cigars. But okay.
Hell yeah. He's the man of the house, though, Jay.
Bring home the bacon.
Be a little gay and a little more interesting for him.
Gay, hot.
His boring day may need a lift, and one of your duties is to provide it, Gabriella.
Duties.
The other thing is, dude, remember those times your dad would walk in and you left Legos laying around, he'd get one of those on the heel?
Shit.
And it's like, God damn it! You put a fist through the TV because it hurts so bad?
Yeah.
Well, not in the 50s. Clear the clutter away. Make one last trip through the main part of the house just before your husband arrives. Gather up school books, toys, paper, etc., and then run a dust cloth over the tables.
Agreed, man. I've not seen anything wrong here so far.
Dude, marriage sounds kick-ass.
I have June Cleaver in my mind's eye.
Yeah,
this is
of course.
Exact.
Yeah, if marriage was like this, I'd consider it.
I hope Gab's listening. I really hope Gab's listening to this, because this is to be expected. Over the cooler months of the year, you should prepare and light a fire for him to unwind by. Your husband will feel he has reached a haven of rest and order.
And what about packing my pipe?
It'll give you a lift, too. After all, catering for his comfort will provide you with immense personal satisfaction. I agree with that.
Yeah, tell the slaves that.
Don't forget, Gabriella, prepare the children. Take a few minutes to wash the children's hands and faces, if they are small. Comb their hair, and if necessary, change their clothes. Children are little treasures, and he would like to see them playing the part. Minimize all noise. At the time of his arrival, eliminate all noise of the washer, dryer, and vacuum. Try to encourage the children to be quiet. Papa doesn't need this shit. He's 4 drinks deep. He's 4 Canadian clubs deep. He does not need the ruckus of them in the washer and dryer going.
It only took us 2 generations to get away from that, where we are.
I know.
One more generation, just think.
Yeah.
Just think, ladies.
This will be in Good Husbands Keeping magazine, and the roles will be flipped.
I was about to say, what happens if Gab's the one coming home from work?
Well, make sure you have a warm dinner prepared. Perhaps her favorite meal, Jay.
A ribbon in my hair?
Yes. Be happy to see him. Free him with a warm smile and show sincerity in your desire to please him. Listen to him. You may have a dozen important things to tell him, but the moment of his arrival is not the time.
You may have a dozen important things.
They're not important. Not important.
Let him talk first. Remember, his topics of conversation are more important than yours.
There you go.
It says that. And that's true. They are.
Because all of her topics have to do with caring for the house.
Right.
You know?
Who gives a shit about what the neighbor did across the street?
I need a $20 check to go buy more supplies for the home.
Well, I guess that's important, because those supplies do need to be bought.
And used.
If you think being married in 1955 wasn't the shit.
Wow. This goes to the sex, doesn't it, Mike?
Make the evening his. Never complain if he comes home late or goes out to dinner or other places of entertainment without you. Instead, try to understand his world of strain and pressure and his very real need to be at home and relax.
Bam. Free pass.
Free pass. Dude, do what you want. Your goal, try to make sure your home is a place of peace, order, and tranquility where your husband can renew himself in body and spirit. Don't greet him with complaints and problems. Those are yours.
Shit.
Don't complain if he's late home for dinner or even if he stays out all night.
I agree.
What? This can't be. This is the greatest generation ever. That's
is my grandpa. It was the greatest generation.
Our papas lived this life. How dare you question where I was all night? Martha, you know I had a long day at work. Needed to unwind a bit. How dare you? So don't complain if he's late or if he stays out all night. Count this as minor compared to what he might have gone through the day. Yeah.
Think of his suffering as he got blown by some strange.
You were wondering about the pipe packing.
Yes.
Well, Gabriella, you're going to want to make him comfortable. Have him lean back in a comfortable chair. Have him lie down in the bedroom. Have a cool or warm drink ready for him. At this point, I would say insert Peckus Pipeline. Can you imagine if you walked in the door and Gabriella led you to the bedroom and laid you down and presented you with a warm or cool drink?
No.
How about arrange his pillow and offer to take off his shoes? Speak in a low, soothing, and pleasant voice, not your normal irritating as shit one. Go, Daddy-O! Don't ask him questions about his actions or question his judgment of integrity. Remember, he is the master of the house, and as such, he will exercise his will with fairness and truthfulness. You have no right to question him. A good wife always knows her place.
Wow. Just wow.
I want to be married in 1955.
Time
End
machine.
of discussion.
That's where you're going.
Dude,
Huh?
it's as simple as that. So, ladies, how
We're getting
about that? How about that for hashtag Me Too? Don't make noise when he comes home. He's probably had a long, rough day. Oh, isn't that great?
It's amazing.
Oh.
Amazing that it was only in the 50s.
Dude, think about that. Like,
It was a different world, man.
it's... Well, what's worse than an unkempt house? A Negro moving into your neighborhood? Like, dude, it's this happened for real.
I know.
Like, that Ward Cleaver existence for some people, obviously, for most it probably didn't. I wonder how many women played ball with that.
2 generations.
You know,
Only 2 generations ago.
Do you think women were like...
Yeah, a whole class of them, yeah.
Yeah, but do you think there were a lot of them that gathered in the neighborhood like, you know, talking hens and just clucked about what
sure.
a piece of shit their lush husband was and all that? They had to have been, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, haven't you ever seen Mad Men? Come on.
Yeah.
That's a documentary.
Yeah. Dude, being around, it sounds like work was the shit back then. You fucked girls in your office between drinks.
Maybe you got some work done, maybe you didn't.
A little bit.
Hey, our friends at DealsInTheD.com make buying or leasing your next new or pre-owned car, truck, or SUV truly fun and exciting. When you choose Zot, you get the best prices, the largest inventories, foosball, fresh popcorn, and some of the hottest salespeople you'll ever see. Not to mention a world-class buying experience coupled with the finest ownership experience possible. Take advantage of all of this at any of the 4 Deals in the D dealerships.
They want you to take a 15-minute rest before he gets home so you can freshen up. Go and redo your makeup, touch things up, just like look like a prize when he walks in the door.
Awesome.
Oh. Anyway, how we doing for email, Jay?
We do have some email, Mike. Before we get to that, Hamlin Pubs is inviting you to their 5 Metro Detroit locations. Come enjoy Hamlin Pubs' great food, drinks, and atmosphere, whether you're watching the game with your buddies, out for a meal with the family, or out for an evening with your girl. It's always a great time at their Rochester, Clarkston, Chesterfield, and 2 Shelby Township locations. On to email.
Yeah, what do we got?
E, do you want the tough one first?
I don't care.
Okay. E doesn't care. You know, this happens I'd say every...
Is E about to get shit on?
Every 6 months, we get hit hard with a lot of people pushing back on E.
Yeah,
and he brings it upon himself.
Yeah.
You know, let's be honest.
He doesn't help himself. I don't know that he always brings it on
No, he
himself.
does. There's usually a marker where you can look back and go, yeah, him spouting off about that, people really, that drove people over the edge.
I know this got on Facebook, and people, usually it starts with, you know, fuck that guy. If he doesn't deserve your guys' help. If you blah, blah, blah. And then it turns into like, oh yeah, well, remember when he did this? And it's like, boom, he's a piece of shit because remember when he did this? Boom. And
It's amazing,
it's just
isn't
like,
it? You could go on for days.
100 comments later, there might be one guy going, come on, guys, I think he's kind of funny. And then it's like 800 more people going, fuck that piece of shit. No offense, E.
I wasn't even listening.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, well, yeah, that's part of the problem. Nate writes in, podcast heroes and useless homo. Oof, that's not a good... Yeah, because I'm one of the podcast heroes.
Me too,
Sorry,
I
Dan.
think, yeah.
Not worried about that.
Pretty sure.
Gentlemen, I believe we've come upon a crossroads of sorts. Gross. We've been approaching it for quite some time, but I feel that Big E, looking up the play in the Packers game that brought about the demise of the replacement NFL refs, was the final straw. The flippant attitude he showed while proclaiming, "Who cares if Jay can find it faster than me?" and "Why would I care?" proved once again what a useless piece of shit he really is. Let me remind you why you should care, E, because you're the producer of a podcast with a minimal staff that needs you to actually give a fuck about the quality of the show.
That's a good point.
There are
I
only
hadn't thought
a
of
few
that.
simple tasks that Mike and Jay need you to perform, and you somehow always fall short of expectations. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I can say without a doubt This is going to hurt E.
Uh-oh.
You are the worst producer on any of them.
That does hurt.
In the early days, the incompetence was offset by some redeeming aspects, notably Big E's diary, Hooker Tales, and his general stories of uncleanliness and debauchery. They provided laughs through the always entertaining onion peeling. Unfortunately, however, we've now heard all his stories, and his willingness to be the butt of the jokes he brought in to be is irritating at best.
So are they saying that the onion's been peeled and needs to just be discarded now?
I think they're saying that. I know Mike has a soft spot in his doughy heart for the retard, but it has to have become clear to everyone in the room that the whole Big E thing has run its course. The whole Big E thing. I love that.
My life.
I would like to propose that the Detroit Cast sever ties with the underwhelming independent contractor for good. You could even hold some sort of competition that would award the job to a new producer. This would provide some nice content during the search, as well as a fresh perspective from a new voice once the search was complete. The addition by subtraction aspect alone could only provide a boost and show quality. Still love the show. Day one listener, original Kickstarter donor, and member, Nate.
Thank you, Nate. I appreciate. I love. People say that to us all the time. Whenever E gets them going, it's like, why don't you just bring another producer in there? I'll do it. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, you would. You'd come in here for a week, and then you'd go, well, I'm not really getting any money, and it was cool coming in here the first few days, but now you guys are kind of dicks, and
I got to go to work, and I'm trying to do this.
It's just a lot. I don't have time, really. And so you would flame out like everybody else does. It's very hard, and I know people say that a lot. I have a soft spot for I like E. I think E brings something to the table. No offense, E. I think he does. I think he can be horribly irritating at times. He irritates the shit out of me too. He takes a sound beating and he comes back. And what I like most is when this started and nobody was here and nobody gave a shit and he had a job and a place to live across the state. He came back and moved in with his parents and worked here for free for, I don't know, 2.5 years without a
I don't like him, his giant head,
without a
or his
penny.
beady little eyes.
Without a penny. And so it's like, I mean, he's been here. He's part of it. And so, whatever.
Lifeless eyes, black eyes like a doll's eye.
How many times Jay told me, dude, we just got to shit can this dude. I was
yesterday or today?
No, he hasn't done it in a while. But there were a couple days where Jay was like, I don't know, man. These emails are coming in like lightning, man. People just
I wasn't reacting to people's emails. I was reacting to my own feeling. Like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah,
what are we doing?
it's
And
retarded.
I'm sure people have thought that about me.
Yeah, not in a while I haven't. But yeah, sure. I think E has a bad defense mechanism. I think that's what it is. I think that E really does care. People that go, I don't care. It doesn't make sense that he wouldn't care that Jay, while holding a conversation, can bing something that he's been trying to bing for 10 minutes and find it faster. Of course he cares. But his defense is, I don't care.
Fuck you, dude.
Fuck you, dude. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Fuck all of you. I don't even have to be here. That would destroy him if he wasn't here. And I think
and
that's...
his eyes are fathomless pits, black holes that no light can penetrate or escape.
So I think
nothing lives in those eyes.
I think when a lot of people hear him say that, they believe that, and they're like, well, fuck him, man. If you can't do the basics... But I just honestly, unless I'm wrong, don't you think that's sort of a defense mechanism for him?
Yeah, I think autism speaks. We need to remember that.
Yeah.
And that says it in my view. I mean, he's different,
Yeah.
And he's going to have different reactions, and that's what makes E fun.
I had a buddy, Tooch. I was talking to Tooch the other day. He goes, "Man, I fucking love E," and I was like, "Really? Why? It doesn't seem like a guy you would like." He's like, "Dude, you guys can go down the rabbit hole, kicking his ass up and down, and he's fucking on fire, pissed. Fuck you, bull." And then you'll start another story, and it's like it didn't happen. He just like, well, yeah, I watched that too. It was like he falls right back. He's like, there's no holding that. There's no nothing. He's not going to take a knee for 2 weeks because something was said somewhere, and all of a sudden, well, I guess someone was offended. Like, he doesn't do that, and so it is kind of remarkable. Like, usually when you get all worked up like that, it's like,
yeah, it takes a
carry
day
that
to
for 3
calm down,
hours.
but not E.
Not E.
E, would you like to reply to Nate?
I'll be here until I'm asked not to be here anymore.
There you go, E.
Come on, Big E. Is that all you got?
I think you're good unless Jay fires me.
Yeah.
And if that day happens,
Then
then
I
I would
probably
say
would-
you're on
yeah,
shaky ground.
I would be
Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree with that.
Like, if you end up terminating me, Jay, like,
yeah,
he
because
could-
you have a soft spot in your doughy heart, as mentioned
Yeah.
by Nate.
It's got to be doughy, huh?
Well, I'm just quoting Nate.
Oh, wait a minute. I should change that. I'll be here unless I'm asked to leave, or if I'm offered a shit ton of money. I should not just say.
That'll probably happen too.
Right.
You'll probably be offered a shit ton of money.
I'm just saying I should realize that I should have that on the record. That if someone came for me for $1 million,
can we be clear too that E is paid?
I know. I don't think that.
That probably puts salt in the wounds as well to these listeners who can't stand the fucking guy.
True.
E is paid to do this.
True.
Oh, you want to make it worse? He's gotten multiple raises this year.
Yep.
Not this year. Not this year, but not.
When was
not in 2018?
This year he received a 15% raise.
At least.
Yeah.
And then
you shouldn't say that. It's almost bad to say that. I don't care. I don't care that they know that. I'm just saying. I
quite
think
a lot of money to do this
handsomely.
Well, for what he does. The best job of my life.
He was very underpaid for a long time.
Yes, for
you know
sure.
what I mean?
He hasn't caught up to what he put in.
Yeah, we owed him some, so
he's doing well now.
Yeah.
Derek writes in, show and tell and loss. Ooh, dear podcasters.
Show and tell and loss.
Yeah. Dear podcasters, but especially Jay, in poem number 971, your story of show and tell and loss really hit home for me. I too suffered the loss of a cherished item after a show and tell.
Your owl.
Yes. Picture it. Kindergarten 1987, I brought my most treasured non-teddy bear possession for my very first school show and tell. It was a Knight Rider talking car with David
Holy shit.
Hasselhoff.
Get out.
Dude, look at the picture.
Get out.
E, can you?
Yeah, it's up there.
The people can see it.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it.
Holy shit.
Look at that thing, huh? This was no Matchbox-sized kit. This was a vehicle large enough for a G.I. Joe to sit in comfortably.
Wow.
Back then, we did half-day kindergarten, and I was in the afternoon class. After showing and telling, he showed and told, Mike.
Wow.
He showed and told.
Yeah.
I undoubtedly became the envy of my peers, but I may have also become the envy of my picture, Miss Bunning, no relation to Jim. At least I don't think so. I assume that she had become envious because she asked if I would be willing to leave the toy overnight so that she could show it to the morning class.
Rookie.
I was about to hit the big time. I thought for sure she can show it off to the morning class. I was going to be the talk of the town. The next afternoon rolls around and I go to school expecting to see Kit, but alas, he is not there. I had kept the Michael Knight figure. Smart man, Derek, smart man.
Yeah.
And one of Kit's doors for some reason, but the car itself had vanished overnight. Miss Bunning said that it was not there when she arrived in the morning. I demanded a full investigation and a search party. This was 30 years ago, so the details are a bit hazy, but I remember that my mom came in. Of course she did.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
We talked to the janitors, and at the time I thought it was one of them, but I think my mom suspected Miss Bunning. Thinking back and hearing your story, Jay, I'd bet that it was her. Is it possible that show and tell is just some big ruse by teachers to fleece students of prized possessions?
They find the one of the 30 kids, they find the one they want the most, and then that one just disappears.
Are there others out there like us? Devious, dastardly.
I remember doing show and tell.
You showed and told?
I did. I know I did, but I can't think of a single item that I brought in. But I'll tell you this. I would not have brought the Mystery Machine in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would not have brought the Millennium Falcon in.
Yeah, there's certain things.
Like,
that
it's just
oh boy, too nervous about that.
Not doing it.
I mean, I didn't even take my Star Wars figures outside.
Yeah.
I had them all with their corresponding guns inside, only played on with carpet, on carpet, or on bed.
I
never hit hard surfaces. They never had sand in their joints. None of that. I saw my friends doing that. I kept that shit inside.
Yeah. You'd have a small fortune right now if you didn't just give those to the kids and let them just open the boxes.
Whatever.
And tear them apart.
Yeah,
that
too. I took them out of the box and played with them.
I was watching a documentary. I think it's a series actually, but the first one was like an hour long, and it was on Star Wars action figures and like the backstory of how. Who was it? It wasn't Mattel. It was like Kenner.
Yeah, Kenner.
Kenner got those toys and how they got them, and then a whole breakdown of the Boba Fett thing, where he's the one that had the
proofs of purchases. Dude, it was the spring-loaded thing.
Yeah.
It was a problem.
You did not have that?
There
were
sent
two
away,
of them.
No, I sent away for Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And I received him with my 4 proofs of purchases. I received him in the mail. I'll never forget the day. I also received Bosk in the mail, another bounty hunter from Empire Strikes Back.
Right. But when you got your Boba Fett, he did not have the spring-loaded.
No.
Yeah. They did make a couple of those.
I know.
Whew, those are worth.
I can imagine.
Quite a bit of money.
Yeah. There's certain Jawas with certain cloaks and things, colors. If you've got a certain color, you're in it. But
they had some guy, and it's like it just doesn't end. He's got like a whole house, and it's just from around the globe, Japanese with misspelled Star Wars. He's very good, right saber. Like he's got toys like you can't imagine, life size full. It's a museum.
Yeah, 40-year-old version. I saw that.
Yeah, he's believed to have the world's biggest Star Wars toy collection. Fascinating to see all these years later, though, and hear the story. But anyway,
we'll save the rest for tomorrow, Mike.
All right, very good. Yeah, we got one more show to do, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, let's. Why don't we do it tomorrow?
Yeah, that's a good time to do it.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to come back here on Saturday.
Yeah, that works.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, all right. Let's plan for that. Hey, everybody, thank you for hanging with us. We, as always, appreciate that. We'll do it again tomorrow. We'll see you then.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.